John and I are in Chania today. Hello, everybody. Joyce here with the Traveling Gamblers, and I am here with John. Hello, John.
Hello, Joyce.
Chania?
Chania.
Chania.
Chania. They said
the accent is on the ya.
Yeah.
Chania.
Crete.
Chania. Well, so it's the port of Chania,
Right.
and the big known town is Crete. Greece. We are in Greece today.
We are.
New port for us. It was
I've been
great.
looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yes.
For a certain reason.
For the food. What?
You're so bad at this game.
Well, for the what?
For a certain reason.
Well, we'll tell you later. Unedited, remember.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Let's see. The ship docked. It was gangway down at 10 a.m. Gangway up at 5:30. So John and I decided to wait a little bit and let the masses get off because we were going to do our own thing. We did a self-guided walking tour through Voice Map, and it was called Old Town Turbulent History of Chania. Chania?
Chania.
You don't have to yell it. Chania. And
okay.
There's no walking allowed in the port here.
Right.
So you walked from the ship through the terminal little tiny building. And let's see, I think I did some footage of that, of us walking off the ship, yes, and showing you where we had to walk. So I just did a little sped up footage of that to show you. It was just a 3-minute walk.
Exactly. And then we walked into that building and walked out to the other side.
Little tiny building.
Right. And took this free shuttle.
And a complimentary shuttle.
Right.
That took us to the edge of downtown.
Right. And that was
which is different from Old Town.
Right. It was like 15, 20 minutes, I would say. It was.
I don't think it was that long.
I
don't think it was that long. I think it was more like, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 20. Of the bus ride, and right. John and I opted to sit in the front seat of the bus. Oh, before we get to the bus, so I took a photo of the ship, and I wanted to show you, if you see the couple cars there, those are taxis. So there are taxis available if you want to take a taxi and go someplace specific. There were taxis lined up for you right there by the shuttle, but the shuttle is free. And it took you, like I said, to the edge of the downtown. So there's two areas that they talk about, downtown and Old Town. And we decided to sit in the front seat behind the driver. So here's just a little bit of us driving from the port to the edge of downtown. I wanted you to just see a little bit of the neighborhood and the local area so that you could see what it was like. It was a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah,
it was in the high 70s, low 80s, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I'm always surprised at how many places in Europe that have palm trees.
Yeah.
I would never associate Greece with a palm tree.
No.
But yeah, there they are.
We
There's
did.
Palm trees. It's
yeah,
it's odd to me. And there we are on the bus, the two of us, getting ready for our excursion, an adventure-filled day. Just the two of us today.
Yes.
It was really lovely.
Yes.
And there's a little bit more of the driving downtown. And they dropped us off in an area here. And you can see that's what the sidewalk looks like. So it's a nice wide sidewalk, safe walking, flat surface, little tiny bit of a decline going into town, which meant a little bit of an incline coming back, which I always prefer it to be the other way around. I'd like to do the incline on the early part of the day when you're not so tired, but it was fine. It was hardly any at all. And we passed the municipal garden of Chania and John's...
Chania. Not Chania.
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 Right.
Chania.
Chania.
It's CH, but it's pronounced Chania. And that's a quick photo of the garden, the municipal garden of Chania. And this is downtown. There was lots of streets, lots of stores,
Yeah.
lots and lots of pharmacies.
Oh, it seemed like there was a pharmacy
like every corner,
every few stores.
Yeah, it was a lot. And we did a little window shopping as we were going along, and we stopped. We saw on the sidewalk, we saw a display
for postcards.
Yes.
We decided that we'll send little Scott. Oh, hi Scott.
Hi Scott.
Yeah. Hi.
Nana and Papa. We're in Greece and we miss you so much.
And hi Gabby and hi
Gabby
Big Scott.
and Scott.
Yeah.
And hi Christina and Sean. I don't know
Yes.
if you guys are gonna watch this, but Christina's our daughter and Sean's our son-in-law, and they're staying at our house watching our dogs while we're away on this long trip.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott is our son, Gabby is our daughter-in-law, and little Scott is their son. And we miss them. Our grandson, our only grandson.
Yes.
And we miss them all very much.
Yes.
We miss them very much. So we decided
to start sending a postcard from the different ports, and this is the first one.
Yeah. So he's 3,
right?
And we think it would be exciting for him to get mail.
Yeah, we were FaceTiming with him yesterday, and in the middle of it, his father went to go get the mail, and he was a little excited, and he came back, and
he was
that
done.
was the end of the FaceTime because he wanted to look
He's
at
like,
the mail.
see ya.
So we decided that,
Dad's back with the mail.
Yeah,
I'm going.
we decided to do the postcard thing.
Yeah. And that was an adventure.
It
all
sure
in itself.
was, but
So
it was
we'll
worth every
it,
second of
yeah,
it.
of
Yes.
course. So we bought a postcard, and when we went into the store, John mentioned in the video the other day that as most of you know, I am on this hunt for or search for a patch, an embroidered patch for every place that we visit that's new. And today was a new port. Well, with the language barrier of us being in foreign ports, even though they speak English here really well, and a majority of the people speak it fluently, there's still, and just about everywhere we go, there's that people don't understand what I'm referring to when I say a patch. So I've decided to carry a patch with me and just show them, and it's working out beautifully.
Yes, sure.
The guy
is.
instantly today knew, and I got a great patch that says Crete and Chania. So it's exciting for me when I find one that says the very specific area that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought the postcard and we bought the patch, and then we continued on our way
With
towards
the self-guided tour.
Nope, not
yet.
Not yet. We hadn't gotten there
That's
yet.
right. We didn't get to the beginning area.
Ultimately, we needed to get to. Did we not take a picture of the clock tower and where that stop was?
We did not.
Well, how is that possible?
Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is.
No, that's the church.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay. So we must have taken a picture of the clock tower. What they refer to as the municipal market. It's a very large building that normally houses a lot of booths and different types of vendors, but it's under construction right now, so it's not open. It's completely just a construction zone right now. So that was our starting point for our self-guided tour, which was supposed to be an hour and 15 minutes. And I think the timing of those is, if you were to possibly just listen to it, just go straight and walk at I don't know what pace, but I find that whatever time they say that it will take, to double that, and that's realistic on what the amount of time.
Yeah, because you stop at places, you pause it, you look around, you go into a store.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
Well, your phone locks very fast. I'm looking at the photos and videos that we took today on John's phone, and every time I look up to talk to you guys, I look down and his phone is locked again. So in that excursion, in that walk, they're really wonderful. I love these self-guided tours.
Yeah.
We came across, this was actually walking there, all of the leather goods. It's amazing,
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it?
much, and it's not expensive. It's,
No,
uh,
just really incredible. So this is, they called it Leather Alley, and there were so many, it just absolutely beautiful. These are some photos of all of their goods that they were selling, and
yes.
and I really wished that I had something that I
Yeah.
wanted to buy.
Well, Joyce wants to buy me a new computer bag, but I didn't find one that I liked.
You're so funny. You're the
What?
one who brought up, you were like, oh, a computer bag, and I was like, well, yeah,
Well, you've
that
been
would be
saying
good.
for a while that you wanted me to get a computer bag, but you wanted me to get another one of those. What do you call those little
Yeah, but
man
for the
purses,
computer
whatever,
bag,
yeah, right.
his computer bag empty is very heavy. So I thought if he got something that was lighter weight, it wouldn't be so much weight for him to carry. And here's some photos of our walk. Now this was the square in Old Town, and this was I believe this was a Greek Orthodox church.
Right, and then it became a candle factory. That was what they said it was a candle. Then they turned it back into a church.
Into the church. Yes,
right.
yes,
And
yes.
you couldn't take photos.
All
inside.
the history and the random things that they tell you during these self-guided tours is really cool.
This is a very old city.
There's a photo of us with our AirPods in and listening to the tour. And there's the dome. That blue dome is the Roman Catholic Church. So it was really interesting. There was a synagogue, a Greek Orthodox, and a Catholic church, all within minutes of each other. This area is incredibly old. The history there is crazy. So as we were walking, we decided that we were hungry.
We did.
And we ran into John and Kimmy, who had just ordered, coincidentally, at the same place that we walked into.
Right.
And
So we
want
sat
to
with
tell them about lunch?
Yeah, we sat down with them. We ordered a gyro.
Chicken gyro.
Chicken gyro, and it's pronounced gyro according to the local from Athens a couple of years ago. Instead of gyro, they said it's a gyro, and a Greek salad. So we've been told that a salad in Greece, a Greek salad in Greece, is just called a salad. But on every menu we saw, it's listed as a Greek salad.
Yeah, because they also had Caesar salad and mixed salad, so they have to identify it as a Greek salad because that's the style of salad that it is, with the giant piece of feta on it.
I was so looking forward to those two things, and it did not disappoint.
And so here's a menu. The name of the place was Star 9, STR9, and it was just a little lunch place, and the prices were really great, as John said. So that's the Greek salad that we ordered. And just to give you an idea, that was probably, what do you think, 8 inches in diameter across?
I would say 12 maybe.
I don't think it was. No, it definitely wasn't a foot.
10?
I would say 8.
Okay.
It was massive, but it was also a deep bowl.
It was. Huge piece of feta cheese.
We shared the salad.
And we still had leftover.
Had half of it left over. And this is the gyro. It was a chicken gyro. And
we had the medium-sized one.
Yes, there was
a
medium and a large.
A lot to eat, to share.
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me. And we ate almost the entire thing. We left a little bit.
And Joyce ordered a bottle of water. I had a Coke Zero. And how much was the whole bill?
€17.
€17.
And here's a photo of the outside of the place. And it's 9STR, food for all. They had hot dogs and hamburgers, all kinds of stuff. And then there's a photo of the inside, but they also had seating outside, so you could sit out kind of on the sidewalk.
And when we left there, we saw
our friend John.
Another friend, John.
Yeah, and his friend Timothy.
And we told them about it, and they went there to eat there.
Yeah.
And they liked
so this photo was of just one of the alleys, and I just wanted to show you some of the architecture and the balconies and the ironwork on the balconies, the wrought iron. And here's just some pictures of some of the places as we went along. Just the architecture, everything about it was beautiful. This was a really cool restaurant that we saw outside that looked really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And this was inside a business. And this was back in the day. It was a burial tombs for priests. and it's now a store.
Yes, and that's plexiglass over that.
Yeah, there's plexiglass on top of it.
On the
It's
floor,
just
yes.
bizarre. And some more photos. And then we came upon the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a photo of the full harbor. And in the distance, you can see there is the lighthouse. And this was all part of our walking tour. When we got to this point, we decided to head back to the bus because it was about 3 o'clock and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have any kind of mishaps or anything.
And we were looking for the post office.
And we still had to find the post office.
And we asked so many people, and we tried to look it up on...
Well, here's just a full picture of the harbor, of all of the different restaurants and hotels and things that are along the front. It's really a great little place. I absolutely recommend, if you don't want to book an excursion and do something very specific, you can absolutely do this port on your own. And it was very inexpensive. Right. You could go the free shuttle bus to take you to, and if you're capable of walking, not uneven surfaces, nice surfaces to walk on, not any really incline coming back. We didn't even feel it.
No, and those things bother me, you know. I did fine.
Yeah. No steps of anything to speak of. And
during the tour, there's a couple, but you don't have to go on the steps. You know,
right. On the self-guided walking tour that we did, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. We walked about 8,000 or 9,000 steps, which was great for the day.
So many people, we were trying to find the post office. So many people did not know where the post office was, and we put it in the app, and it told us to go one place, and it wasn't there. So finally, we found it.
Well, you remembered that earlier in the day when we first got there, John had asked somebody where the post office was, and there was a guy that told him that it wasn't too far from there. Right. So we ended up, when we were walking back, we were in that same vicinity, and we ended up finding the post office. But that was a picture after we left the ship, after we were leaving. So I'll put that in at the end. But so we put it in. They said it was El-Ta, E-L, second word Ta, T-A, and that would get us to the post office. And we did.
It was like 2 or 3 blocks off of the main road that we were walking to get back to the bus. So we went there.
And we walked in, and it was a pretty big space, a pretty big empty post office. There were 3 workers behind the glass at 3 different stations. One had a window closed, and so there was another woman there ahead of me. And I went up to the window, and I asked her, I showed her the postcard, said I need a stamp. And she said, okay, €2.
You know what comes into mind? Because we were having a conversation with one of the crew members today, because there's certain terminology that they use on the ship. You know what I would have called those people there?
Just lazy people.
Yeah, lazy people. Okay.
Yeah. And so I gave her a 20 bill, a €20 bill. I remembered going to the restaurant and I had €100, and I broke it at the restaurant. I said, can you break 100? He said, of course. So I gave it to him there, and it was €17. He gave me €1 and €2 coin. That would be 20. And then he gave me $80 in bills. He gave me a 50, a 20, and a 10. And I put them in my purse, and then we purchased a couple of other things. I got a little book, and I got something else for our grandson. And when we got to the post office, I went through my money, and I thought, well, let me break. I didn't want to give them a 50 because I thought that was too large to break. So I thought, let me give them the 20 to break it. So it was the only 20 that I had. So I gave her the 20, and she took it immediately and put it kind of on the side on her desk. And she gave me the stamp, and I put it on the postcard, and she took the postcard from me, and she just kind of just looked at me like, why was I waiting? And I said, my change. And she said, oh. And so she gave me a €1 and a €2 coin for €3, plus the 2 that it cost, so that's 5. And again, looked at me like I was crazy. Then she turned around and she waited a minute, and she turned around and said to one of her coworkers, I could tell by not what she said, but by the actions, she took my 20 that was sitting on her desk and another 20 and reached it out to her, and she took it, and she came back and she gave her 5s, and she put them in the drawer, and she put the 5 up on the counter. And I was still waiting, and she looking down and doing her thing. And there was large breaks in between each one of these actions, almost as if there was an intentional delay. And she looked up and was like, yes. And I said, I gave you a 20. And she said, no, a 10. And I said, no, I gave you €20. She said, no, you gave me 10. I said, I only had 120 and I don't have it. I gave it to you. It was sitting on your desk. I saw it sitting there. You gave it to the other woman to get change. I gave you a 20. You still owe me €10. She said, no, you gave me 10. I said, no, I gave you 20. She looked at me and she looked down. She waited a second and she reached over into her drawer and she took out the 10 and she put it on the counter. And before she pulled her hand away, she said, are you sure? Are you positive? And I said, I am absolutely positive. And I took my €10 and I walked out. And I said to John, he said, what was that all about? Because he was kind of standing back. And I said, so I explained everything to him that I just explained to you. And I said, I felt like the way that it was orchestrated and the way that she kept pausing, that I was being attempted to be scammed out of my money, that maybe I would be confused and forget how much I had given her, or that maybe I wouldn't persist when she gave me pushback. And I would not be the slightest bit surprised if this has happened before, and maybe would happen again to other tourists. I was really, really surprised and taken back. I mean, in the post office, there was no receipt. There was no ringing up of anything. It was just me giving her money, her giving me a stamp, and then her giving me money back at an incredibly slow pace. So I was very disappointed at that, and a little bit
taken back by it.
Yeah, it really was. I was a little deflated by it.
We're hoping that the postcard makes it.
Yeah, I said, oh, she's probably going to throw the postcard away. She may not make it to our grandson. So we'll let you know. We will keep that in mind. We'll let you know. I'm not sure how long it'll take to get to him, but we'll see. So we left there, and then we knew exactly where we were going. We walked back up to the main street, and I had so I want to give you guys a tip. A friend of ours, when we came back to the ship, we all met together coincidentally, wasn't planned, and it was Suzanne and Bob, Talmadge, KK, and us. And so we all did different things today. Talmadge and Richard did the same thing as us because I had recommended it to them.
And he really liked it.
He loved it. Yeah.
First time he did one of those.
He said it was great. All the information, it's so good. And they take you off the beaten path and to things that I don't think you would ever find on your own. But we were all talking about the different things that we did today. And Suzanne had a really good question. She said to Talmadge, he said he had a little bit of difficulty getting back to the shuttle spot where the shuttle dropped us off to take it back to the ship. And she said, well, how do you know? How do you find your way back to your starting point when you're doing something on your own? And he said that he just kind of went from the starting point of the self-guided tour and then just tried to go back on his own from there. But he remembered incorrectly. And I said what I do, and none of them had thought of this or were aware. First of all, let me just say that John and I have an international calling plan added to our cell phone bill. We have Verizon as a carrier, and it was a $10 for a pass, a daily pass. So it was every time we went one day and used our phone in a foreign port, and that includes the Caribbean for some of the ports. Some of them are included. It was $10 a day. Well, we could add international calling, our same exact plan that we have in the United States, only extended to almost everywhere in the world, for $15 a month each for our lines. So for $30 a month, which would be 3 days of calling if we did the passes,
right,
we have unlimited texting, calling at 15 gigabytes
I think
of
so,
data
Then
before it slows
down. So the other plan that they have is, if you don't want to pay $10 a day, you could pay $100 for the month to have that same thing. I'm not quite sure
why,
but I think you have to have a certain plan with it.
Right, but for those of you that are interested in that, it's through Verizon, and you can inquire with your carrier about it. So that's a first. When we get off the ship, we turn our airplane mode off and put the cellular back on, and we're on regular phones just like at home. So having said that, when we get off any stop, anywhere where we need to find our way back to that point, I open up Google Maps, shows the little blue dot as to where I am. I tap on it and it says share location. You can drop a pin, but I haven't figured out how to share the pin. I know that it says that I dropped a pin, but then I can't find it. But I hit the dot and it says share location, and I text it to myself, and it comes on my phone as a text message. So when we finished up at the post office and went back up to the main street, I just opened up that text message and hit open, and it brought me right to Google Maps, and I hit start, and it gave me the walking path back to the spot where the bus dropped us off.
It also allows you to forward it to other people if we're in a group.
Yes, so it's share your location. So I just share it with myself, but I could also share it with other people that if they're with us, in case we get separated, everybody can find their way back. So that's a really good tip. Now, you may have to watch this part a couple times to understand and go through the steps on your phone. If I went through it too fast for you, I'm sorry.
Or you might know how to use the pin option.
Yeah.
So.
But if you don't know how to do that, then this is a perfect way for you to always find your way back to your starting point. Here's why. When we went back to the main road, we knew that we had to turn right, and we came to the next corner. And what happened?
I thought we had to go across the street. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
But you said no. You looked at the thing and said no.
He said, we have to go over there. That's where we came up. And I said, no. I said, remember we went into this store? And he said, yeah, and that's where we crossed the street. I said, you're right. We walked down and we crossed the street there, but we didn't go over this way. We went up this way. And he said, no, we came from over there. And that's exactly where Talmadge went. That's where he made his mistake. He went straight instead of turning right. And he ended up like a block behind where he needed to be. And he had a little bit of a trouble. He finally found somebody else that was on the ship and knew where to go. But all I did was I showed John on the Google Maps. I said, look, this is where the blue line is taking us. We need to go. Other than the fact that I did remember on my own. But it's a really great tool for you to always get back to your original starting point, and I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend the international travel plan. If you're going to come to Europe and you're going to be here for a while, you're going to be on a cruise where you go into multiple ports, it just, for us, it makes sense.
One of our friends was used the eSIM card, and that's the second person I know that used the eSIM card and had problems with
Not only could they not get it to work, but they'd also messed up their phone, and they were then having difficulty getting their phone back to its regular mode, where their iMessaging was no longer working. It was now texts, and instead of it coming from her phone number to me, it was coming from her email address to me. So I know that you just have to go back into the settings and you can fix it, but our other friend, she could not fix it, and her phone was messed up the entire trip. So the eSIM cards are not necessarily
right. So
they're not as easy as they seem to be. If you do go that route, I highly recommend you try to figure it all out at home before you leave.
and I'm sure we'll have some comments saying
Yeah.
how it works for them, and that it worked fine for
And
them.
we love your comments, so go ahead and make them.
Yeah.
Comments,
It's
questions,
good to, if we say something,
suggestions, something you know differently. Bring them on. We want to hear it all.
Yeah,
we
if we say something controversial,
yes,
it's fine.
Yes, yes.
There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember.
Okay, well, let's talk about the rest of it, and then maybe it'll come to you.
Yeah.
So then we found the stop, and actually the chief concierge, Niall was there.
I always had an S to his name, Niall.
And so we knew for sure we were in the right spot, and we got on the bus, and there was hardly any wait. And it was, the same 15 minutes or so ride back, and we were back on the ship by about 4:30, an hour ahead of time. And we went to Cafe El Baccio, and that's where we kind of met up with our friends and had some iced coffee. I had iced coffee, John had Americano. And we chatted with our friends for a little bit, and we came back to the cabin and showered and got ready for the evening because we were a little sweaty from the day. And now we're sitting here talking to you nice people.
We still have to eat dinner.
Yes.
We're going to go, I think we're going to go to the buffet because we had that lunch. And
yeah, that was about 2 o'clock or so.
Yeah, we just don't eat as much as we used to.
No, so
which is good because we'd be in trouble.
We'd
be in trouble if we ate like most people eat on a cruise ship.
Yeah. This is normal life for us almost.
Yeah, so
it's for, we can't.
People always say,
I rarely eat dessert.
Why aren't you ordering dessert? You can't order dessert every day.
No, definitely not.
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we are back at it. We left the port, and we are now sailing to our next port. And do we want to say where it is?
Yeah, we can say it tomorrow.
Can you say? Yeah. Can you pronounce it?
Turkey. Kudadashi.
Close.
Something like that.
Kusadasi.
Kusadasi. Yes, that's where we're going.
Kusidasi.
I am so looking forward to that.
Ephesus is also there. So Kusadasi is where the port is, and we're going to go to Ephesus and Artemis and the House of Mary, and we're going to do some fun shopping and maybe even something else that we're not going to tell you about. Something very different and kind of out of the norm.
We'll see how much time
outside of our comfort zone, let's say that.
This is a tour? What are we doing?
Yes, this is through Viator, and we booked it, and it's a great tour, and I will tell you all about that tomorrow and when we sit down at the end of our day. Our tour starts at 9 a.m. The tour guide will meet us, and then we'll fill you in tomorrow. So in the meantime, you know what to do. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps us out a lot, and it's just a little thing for you to do. Just hit that little thumbs up button. Comment, share the video with anybody that might be interested in this information. Hit subscribe below this video if you haven't done so already. Join us along. We're close to 25,000. Yeah. Doesn't cost a thing. Just hit subscribe and then turn on the notification bell.
Yes.
That'll let you know of any new videos that we post, so you don't miss a thing. And we appreciate you so much.
We
really do. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Comment, ask us questions, tell us your stuff. We share with you, you share with us. We love it.
Yes.
And as always.
Yeah, whatever you did at this, if you were at this port, did we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that you have to say, share. Right. Yeah, we appreciate it. And as always, we hope you have a wonderful day.
And see you soon.